From Studio B in Riverside, Illinois, it's RBTV's The Late Hour with Layne Anderson. Today's guests are Kaitlin Gaynor, James Baum, Patty Sarkady, John Fields, and Ashland Dale.
Hello, welcome to The Late Hour, and I'm Layne Anderson. I'll be interviewing Kaitlin Gaynor, Mr. Baum, Mrs. Sarkady, Mr. Fields, and Ashland Dale. My first guest is Kaitlin Gaynor. Hello.
Hello.
So I hear you're executive board president.
Yes, I'm the president of the Student Association Exec Board. So in that role this year, we help to run everything from like the dances to our fall fundraisers, like Thanksgiving baskets. We collect Thanksgiving baskets for people at CSS, and then our coat and blanket drive. We collect coat and blankets, hats, and stuff for people in Oak Park. And then our Santa Anonymous, we collect like gifts for the holidays for people. And then in the spring we do like pop-top collection and other like blood drives along the way. So as like the president, we help manage all of that and gets the students' voices heard to the administration. So it's a pretty fun position to be in and like be able to have a lot of say in things that happen in the school, like homecoming and like that kind of stuff. So
Nice. So where did you start with that? Like, did you know you were going to be president?
Not really. I started as my freshman and sophomore year, I was a class officer, and then my junior year there was a lot of people that left that were seniors on the exec board, so then I was like, okay, there's a lot of spots. So I was the secretary of the exec board my junior year, and then after that I was president like this year. So
Nice. So have you found any struggles of becoming it, or like does it take up a lot of time?
Yeah, it actually takes more time than I thought. Like it takes a lot to plan a dance, and like like I don't know, you always think like, oh, like you just get a DJ and you just turn on the music and like it's fine, but it's like actually not. Like it takes like probably like 100 or 200 hours at least of like planning behind the scenes. So
Yeah.
I guess like a struggle would be that like I learned it takes so much more time to do things than like I thought it would. So
Yeah. I could only imagine, especially with like, weren't you like homecoming
on the
court?
Yeah.
Yes. That must have been cool.
It
Yeah.
was.
But I also hear you do the announcements in the morning.
Yes, I do the announcements. That's like as a result of being on, they pick people from exec board to do them. So Jane Frank does the afternoon ones. It's fun, like I get like all the inside like scoop from the office and like just know everything that's going on, so it's nice.
Nice. So for choosing college prep, how did you do it?
So like more like at applying or like
A little bit of both.
Okay. So for like ACT and like standardized tests, I had a tutor outside of school that I went to, and then like I actually took the ACT 3 times. So yeah, but now I'm done. So and then all the applications, I started them I guess in the fall, finished all of mine. I've gotten accepted to all the schools I applied to. So and now I just have to decide, but most likely I'll go to Michigan State. We'll see. But yeah.
Miss School over here. So was it kind of like a third time's the charm thing, or like what? Like why did you?
Why did I take it so many times?
Yeah.
Well, the first time I took it like outside of school in December my junior year, and I don't know, I did okay, but I was like, I can do better. And then I took it at school and like I did well, but then at a few of my schools, if I got like the next point, I would have got a lot more scholarship money. So it's like, okay, I'll retake it and see if I can get like that next a lot of like thousands of dollars. So yeah.
That's a good commitment drive you have there. Like, okay, if I do it one more time. Yeah. So tell me about the flute.
I love playing the flute. I'm going to be a music ed major because of how much I like playing. I played since 7th grade. I'm in band in orchestra downtown. I don't know. I love playing.
Yeah. Well, if you were to become a teacher of flute, excuse me, of music, would you consider like teaching people how to play the flute or like just music in general?
I would probably either do like flute and or like teach in a high school, and run like a music department, like a band or orchestra, and just teach everyone in high school, and like marching band and stuff.
So like a little like Mr. Baum.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you were to be not doing all these fun things such as presidenting, yes, what would you be doing like other than these things?
Hanging out with my friends, just kind of like chilling and doing like random fun stuff. You know, going out, like going downtown, going shopping, going out to eat. You know, like besides that, I don't like being outside, I guess. Going like to the beach in the summer. I love going to the beach. Hiking, like that kind of stuff, I guess. Yeah.
Well, thank you for being on the show today, and stay tuned for our next guest, Mr. Baum. Welcome back to the late hour. Today we are back with our special guest, Mr. Baum. Hello.
Hey.
So you're a music teacher here at RB.
That's right, yeah. Been teaching here 11 years now.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us about what type of activities you teach the students?
Well, I'm a band director, and I this year I have two of the concert bands. I'm also the orchestra director, and I have both of our orchestras. I'm also the jazz band director, and I teach both of the jazz bands. So it's a full concert schedule, full of a variety of music. It's great.
Nice. So when you were on your way to becoming a music teacher, like what were some of the like colleges you thought of, or?
So for colleges, I was looking at NIU, DePaul, and Roosevelt University. I ended up going to Roosevelt. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
So at Roosevelt, what was your major?
Music education with a minor in classical saxophone. Yeah.
Oh, well, was there any like major struggles for like becoming a teacher at that?
Yeah. So we had I had this terrible music history professor for my freshman year, music history 1. He was the type of professor that like literally stood behind his podium and just like pontificated fact after fact, and he expected you to memorize it all. And it was just a terrible experience, and I forgot almost everything out of that class and really struggled to get a C. So. But then the next semester, I had a different professor who just like breathed life into music history, and I remember like everything. So, yeah.
Well, I guess it really made you strive to become like a great teacher. So.
Right. It just it made me realize how important the delivery of the content is. I mean, the content itself is important. Otherwise, the class wouldn't exist. But if you don't deliver it well, then you're just going to lose all your learners.
Yeah. So did you go into music like when you started out young, going like, I'm going to become a music teacher? Did you go like, oh?
Yeah, I was pretty young. I was like in grade school when I sort of knew that I was going to be a music teacher. But by the time I got to be Kaitlin's age, I was like well on my way. So like I started taking piano lessons. We had a music theory class that I took while I was here. I was in jazz. I was in band. I was in all the music classes I could get into. So like Kaitlin took jazz this last semester, so she's doing the same thing that I was doing.
So outside of being a music teacher, is there any more musicking you do outside of school?
Yeah, I play in a couple of bands in the Chicago area. Heisenberg Uncertainty Players, we're sort of an avant-garde big band. The Hip Young Gunslingers, more standard based big band that plays modern takes on older tunes. And then we have a group called The Origin of Animal, which is a classical jazz heavy metal fusion group. Very cool progressive stuff.
I heard that one of the RB Jazz bands opened for one of these bands.
Yeah, both of the jazz bands, members of the jazz bands, got to open for the Heisenberg Uncertainty Players at the Wire in Berwyn this past October. And actually, we're pulling in the Origin of Animal group. They'll be coming in March, and the jazz groups will get to open for them. So
Nice.
yeah.
So when you were little, obviously, that was weird. Okay, sorry.
I was a big child. It's okay.
Oh, sorry. All right. Anyway, but when you were little, like, what was your major instrument?
It's always the saxophone. I got hooked on the saxophone when I was 3. There was this great, is a Sesame Street expose or documentary. So it was 3 minutes long, and they go into this saxophone factory, and they show the saxophones being made. And the genius part of this documentary was they put free jazz as a soundtrack to it. It's a saxophone doing free jazz while they're making the saxophone. And I think that was a pretty impactful viewing as a child. Also, there was a Mr. Rogers Picture where they do the same thing. They go into the saxophone factory, but it's Mr. Rogers sort of narrating it. And I'm a huge Mr. Rogers fan. Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you have any instruments you would like to share with us today?
Oh, well, yeah. I'm also a member, the founding teacher of the Fretted Friends Ukulele Club here. So yeah, this is my ukulele. We could play a tune.
A tune?
If you like. You want to join on a tune?
Sure.
All right. What Christmas tune should we play? Because it's Christmas year round.
Jinger
bells?
Jingle bells. Joke there for a minute.
14. Do you want to hold it? All right. All right. All right. Jinger bells, jinger all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jinger all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Take it away, Kaitlin. We're dashing
Through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. Over the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtails ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight.
Oh, jinger bells, jinger all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jinger bells, jinger all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Yeah. So Fretted Friends meets every Wednesday after school here.
Oh.
Yeah, come on down. You don't have to own a uke, you can just join it. We have ukuleles to share.
Well, I'm glad to hear that there's ukuleles for all.
Yeah.
The Late Hour will be right back with these short messages. Welcome back to the Late Hour with our next guest, Miss Sarkady, who is a business technology and consumer economics teacher.
It's true.
So tell me a bit about that.
Well, it's a lot. It's a lot. So business and technology has a lot of components under the umbrella of it, which includes game design and animation, web design, business and accounting, and graphic arts, which is a program that encompasses Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator, but really designing images and logos for business purposes.
So then consumer economics.
Right, so consumer economics is a required course by the state of Illinois, and it's to teach students financial literacy, so in hopes that when they come out of High school, we design and help educate consumers that can live financially responsible in our society.
All right. So before teaching, where were you?
So I was not always an educator. I worked in the TV industry in the late 90s, and I did a lot of editing work. So I was strictly a video editor, and I also did some PA work, and then I worked as the manager at the TV center at Columbia College. And so I really worked all day, all night. And editing, I would edit into like 2 a.m. And Columbia College had asked me to teach a class for them. I think it was like in '97. And so I did. So I taught the class, and I realized, I mean, I loved TV, and I loved working with clients, and I loved working in the industry with colleagues. But once I started teaching, I just fell in love with it. And I was trying to figure out how I could get into education, because that was not even a path that I was ever thinking of doing. So I taught another year at Columbia, and they increased my classes, but I was still part-time, but I was also working full-time as everything else. And then there was a position opened at RBHS, and I was very fortunate to have worked with Mr. Prokes prior to, because I used to judge the CTEC, what used to be CTEC, which is now MMEA festivals. And so there was a position open here for an assistant for Mr. Prokes, and then also a producer. So I was hired to work strictly with the principal of the time to make 4 different TV shows for her, and then with Mr. Prokes as his assistant doing AV work. And so within that time, I went back to school to get my teaching certification, and then the district hired me in '01 as a teacher. So it became a full-time teacher in 2001. But I've been here since '99. And I have worked with Mr. Prokes very closely in TV production, and I'm very fortunate to work with so many colleagues, some great colleagues. Mr. Baum, we haven't really worked together, but we have fun together.
Oh yeah.
Just because we're not in the same classroom.
Well, our
or
departments, our departments used to be mixed together, so we would,
collaborate.
mingle and all
He's
that.
got such great educational ideas.
Well, so do you. I mean, like, you just did this great presentation, and I'm definitely stealing some of those ideas, so yeah.
Yeah, but with game design, how do you keep up,
Oh, that's a great question. Well, I play a lot of games. Okay, so I'm a console gamer, and right now I'm playing Legends of Zelda on Super Nintendo.
I've played that one.
1991.
Yeah.
Yes. So I just got the 2nd pendant, so I'm hoping to get the 3rd one this weekend. But that's what I do. And so I did purchase the Switch. But I haven't opened yet, so I will open it.
Merry Christmas to you.
Yes, thank you. That's exactly what that was. And so I will be playing those. So how do I don't play PC games just because unfortunately, I know I'm the business and technology teacher, but my computer at home is so old that the PC gaming will not, and I'm just not ready to buy a new computer yet. So I don't play any PC games. But so that's how I keep up, and I have a partnership with Bradley University, so I work directly with the department chair in the multimedia department. Just to ensure that the curriculum is always up to date and that what our course goals and objectives meet what the course goals and objectives are if students do want to major in game design.
Nice. So do you have a preferred console?
Well, I'm hoping Switch will be my preferred console, but I'm doing Super Nintendo, and I will. That's mine. Okay, so that I saved mine. So I have my Super Nintendo. So in my basement, I have my TV, and I have my four consoles. I have the original Nintendo, I have my Super Nintendo, Genesis, and the Xbox, and they're all set up. So we have this little switch, and then we just play whatever we want to play. So it's not like I sit and play in my basement all day, but when my son goes to sleep, I do sometimes play for an hour. Last night I played a little longer.
No N64 though.
I don't have a Nintendo 64.
Oh.
No, I know.
I've got an N64 and a GameCube.
Oh, you have the GameCube.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, but I like the N64 games better. Like the Super Nintendo to N64, like that was my gaming peak. So. And then Xbox in high school, like Xbox was great. We played so many Halo LAN parties and all that. So,
Fun.
yeah.
Gosh, I my favorite childhood game was the GameCube. I used to play for hours on end on the GameCube, and I remember this hack on the GameCube where, I'm saying GameCube a lot, sorry, but I remember this hack where, like, if you pressed all the buttons at the same time, a monkey would start sounding on,
Oh, really?
on it. Yeah.
I didn't know that game. I'll have to try that
Yeah,
out.
like, just go, like, with the controller, and then, like, it'll go, like,
Oh.
I don't know. That's a monkey sound, by the
Yeah.
way.
That was a good one.
Oh,
It's a good
thank you.
sound. Yes.
Yeah, I've been practicing my monkey sounds. Yeah, but that will be all. So
Is
thank
that
you.
it already? I thought we were gonna sing. Are we gonna sing?
You guys
No,
want
you want-
to sing?
Yeah, let's sing. I'm not an awful singer, but it's
Christmas
really in
carols?
my soul.
We got Rudolph
Yes.
open right here. Let's do some Rudolph. Yeah. If that. All right. All right. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer
Had a very shiny nose,
and if you ever saw it,
you would even say it glows.
all of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then all the reindeer loved him, and they shouted out with glee, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history. Thank you.
I've loved all the songs so far, but that is really it for the late hour for now. Join us back with our next guest, Ashland Dale. We're back with the late hour with our next guest, Ashland Dale. Hello,
Hi.
Ashland. So, I hear you've created your own little game in one period, completely out of boredom.
Purely. It's basically a first-person basic explorer type game. You basically start in a small prison cell. You have to make your way through it. You have to make through a small garden, up a tower, across a tower, and then down into some catacombs, which is where the secret final boss is.
What is this secret final boss?
It's more or less a sort of like an AI system with like, well, first it's like a core that you have to like basically completely disarm, and then it like opens up, and then it's like an AI like robot that you have to destroy.
Is this a non-digital game or a digital game did you make?
Digital. Apparently it's only in design form still. It's all planned out, it's just not developed yet.
Nice.
Oh, well, what's stopping you from developing it?
Purely coding skill and game design.
Well, there's a class for that.
Yes, yes.
There it is.
Yes, that's what we were just talking about, right?
Yes.
Maybe I should join your class.
You probably, yes, of course. Yes, please. Cormac actually is in class. He's the behind camera number, what camera is that? Three. Yes, way to go, Cormac. He's in game design. We're finishing though. This is our last week. Yep.
Finals week. So I also hear you draw.
Oh, yes. I actually do a lot of drawing, especially on my free time. I even have an entire book dedicated to it called My Pride and Joy. It's kind of old. It's kind of falling apart.
Would you call it a sketchbook?
Basically. I have many drawings. Mostly, I actually have them inspired from a TV show called Doctor Who, and this one is possibly, well, it's one of my favorites. And, let's see. This is one of my favorites. It's from a small, basic storyline that I created. This planet is called Aurorus, and there's no sun. The only thing that's actually keeping the planet lit is this giant aurora called the Aurora Solaris. because it's basically it's an aurora that is their sun.
Oh, that's really creative.
There's a ton of other stuff and really cool stuff there. And not only that, but I also do some basic, design plans for things. This is something that I've created called a Drid Turret Base. It's basically a giant military base, but futuristic. And this is one of my best, what I would call a starship, called the Grand Ambrus. It's gigantic in scale size. And I got floor plans for the entire base. And then I have a couple ships. This one's called the Komodo. It's basically a half land and half sky vehicle. And yeah.
Do you have your career goals planned out?
Not really.
I'm wondering, have you taken AutoCAD with Mr. Weissar?
No.
It's all design. You do all of this, all of your drawings on a software program on the computer.
Yeah, I've been skipping around from, I really haven't decided what I really want
It's okay.
to do.
It's okay.
There's game design, there's 3D design. I even dabble in a little bit of cooking and home design.
Oh, I love to eat.
Everyone does. And I love to cook.
Good.
Nice. So you also tinker around with old technology.
Yeah, sometimes when I'm walking home from school, I'll find something really, really that just catches my eye. I'll take it home, take it apart, and find out how it works.
So, ever fixed an old clock?
Several.
Oh, okay. I was just kind of saying it as one of those slang things, because when you think of tinkering, you think of fixing. Okay. Anyways, you also work at a body shop as an apprentice.
Yeah, I decided that what happens is after I have to go pick up my brother, me and him actually have to walk to an auto shop in Lyons. I actually do work there as an apprentice because my mom's friend owns the shop, and she thought it would be a good learning experience. And I decided to actually skip auto class and go straight for the real thing. Why would you have all these assignments and stuff and go at such a slow pace for possibly 1 year when you can get the whole experience for basically nothing?
Well, that's definitely a better thought process. Well, I also know that you are in RBTV. So tell me some great experiences.
Oh, it has been wonderful. The equipment is actually kind of pretty easy to actually get a hold of. And, the people are nice. Most of them.
Oh, did you hear that? Most of them. Most of you are nice, he says.
There's always that select few in every class.
Are you hearing this? You are getting graded. Do you know that?
Yeah. And
His grade, not mine.
but the teachers are really nice. The events are really cool. Staying up till 10 at a football game. That's actually something I've never been able to do.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for being on the show. We'll be right back on the late hour with Mr. Fields. Welcome back to the late hour, and we have our next guest, Mr. Fields. So, what do you teach at RB?
I teach social studies, so I teach AP US History, Global Area Studies A, Sociology, and Government.
Sociology, what's that?
So sociology is an elective class that juniors and seniors can take, and it is the study of how society impacts people's motivations, people's decisions, why people act certain ways in certain groups, how societies group people. So we cover things like crime and why crime occurs and ways to try to reduce crime, and we study racism and gender discrimination, tolerance, acceptance. We also study teenage development and things like that. So it's generally a pretty interesting class.
All right. So, in government, you said you teach.
Yes.
Like, what goes into all of that?
So I teach regular government. So there's AP government, regular government. And so my approach to regular government is making sure students, before they graduate, know how the voting process works, know about how elections work, and are familiar with like current issues and events happening. So we cover a lot of like current things happening. Obviously, during like an election, class can be more exciting than other times, but there's always something happening in politics, especially now. So there's a lot of things that we cover in class. So
Yeah, I could imagine.
yes,
Also, I hear you play in 2 bands.
I do. I play drums in 2 bands. One band is called Budokan 77. That's more of like a rock band, like both bands play all originals. That band is more of like a kind of a 70s sounding, like AC/DC type band. And then the other band, which is called the Black Oil Brothers, is more of like a Americana kind of weird blues band.
So do you get all decked out, or are you wearing RB wear?
I usually don't wear RB wear when I'm playing in the band. But I don't like wear, like leather or anything like that.
No eye makeup.
No, unfortunately, no eye makeup. But just kind of regular clothes, I guess.
All right. So, as you know, we are in finals week. So, obviously, winter break is just in a couple of days. So, what are your plans?
Actually, my family, my wife, Miss Harsey, who also teaches here, and we have a 1-year-old son, and her parents and my brother-in-law are going to Utah to ski over winter break. So I'm not a good skier.
I've never been.
So I hope I don't injure myself severely. But as long as I come back one piece, I'll be happy. So.
Yeah. When I think of skiing, I think of like falling, then becoming large snowball.
Yeah, it's actually really fun. I don't go past like whatever the first color.
So no
It's
black
like,
mountain.
No. There's no black, triple diamond in my future in Utah. It'll be like greens and whatever bunny hills they have.
Bunny hills.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've tried to go snowboarding once. It's went about as well as skateboarding for me. Just
Yeah.
barp.
Yeah. Not a snowboarder.
I
So,
am.
and people have said it's easier, but to me, skiing seems easier-ish.
Seems easier since you have like both feet.
On the ground, yes. Yeah, and I know how to fall.
Did you like come into teaching gradually, or were you like teaching head on?
No, I didn't know I wanted to be a teacher until college.
Oh.
So I took a class, I was an undecided major in college, and I took a history class, and I really liked the professor. So I decided to major in history. And then it was kind of my junior, senior year where I thought about teaching. In grad school, I got my teaching certificate, and then I was able to do a little bit of, I taught some undergrads a little bit, and then that's where I realized I wanted to be a teacher. So I kind of came into it through college.
No. So did you like directly come to RB, or was it like?
I taught I went to school at the University of Illinois, and I taught at a high school in Champaign for 3 years. And then I came here in 2003. So I've been here for 15 years.
Oh my gosh, just realized how much time has flown. I forget that it's 2000.
It's going to be 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This year went by quick.
Oh, it's gone by really quick.
Yeah.
So.
This year has gone by quick because I honestly think sophomore year is the easiest year, so to speak.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Junior year is probably
Hardest.
one of the toughest. So.
Yeah.
Well, from my perspective, yeah, it's pretty tough.
Yeah. It's a lot to think about. There's testing and start thinking about college and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
it can be rough. So You
Yeah.
got time. Enjoy your second semester of your sophomore year.
I will.
Good.
You know, I feel like senior year is probably the hardest. Like, no, easiest.
Yeah.
Yes. But
Because you just skip a lot of classes.
Right.
that will be all with the late hour. Thank you for tuning in, and I'm Layne Anderson.